Hello, everybody. Chin chin for a new week, wherever you are. Today, ironically, it's kind of rainy, both in the Netherlands and Colombia. You can see this is not normally Colombia, okay? It can happen, but okay, it happens. And today, I'm grabbing something really warm, again, coffee. I'm really addicted to coffee, especially Americano, especially in this type of mug, really special, handmade. And we are really, really, really happy to welcome everybody who registered to this event and everybody who's now jumping and hopping on and off around different groups, and everybody who's going to be watching later, welcome. This is the way we start our week with one of our experts. Today, we have a really special guest from actually Colombia, but he's right now in Amsterdam, and we are going to be talking about how to combine your corporate career with entrepreneurship. It can happen. It's really common that you can start your own business while you're an employee somewhere else, full-time, part-time, workaholic time, everything. So today I'm really happy to introduce you to Jonathan Kaplinski. I know it doesn't sound Colombian, but he will explain what's the deal with the name. Welcome, everybody. Please grab your favorite coffee or drink. I know in the Netherlands it's 5, so it goes like water, beer, or you name it. Welcome, Jonathan.
Thank you, Maria. Gracias. Thank you for the introduction and for having me here.
Thank you for joining. I'm really, really happy that we met. Actually, we met really recent during the Here to Start Fest. And this is how we basically match. Otherwise, how could I know about another Colombian in Amsterdam doing amazing stuff?
Yeah, hopefully soon we can meet or here or in Colombia in person.
Yes, let's let the airport open officially, and then we can talk. So today, what is it about today? Before we go on topic, I will really want to do a little introduction about me, about Jonathan, about what is this logo that you see there, Expert Pool, so everybody get a little bit acquainted. So first of all, about Expert Pool, well, we have more than 50 experts now across different categories. Actually, marketing, that is Jonathan's background, is our biggest category. And in that sense, what we want is to help entrepreneurs. And we are real when it comes to entrepreneurship. We know how difficult it is, how challenging it is, especially when you're cooking your own idea within, the job setup. So today we're going to talk about it. We're going to just talk about this topic, see what are the challenges, what's the story, personal stories tell a lot about it. And that's why we invited Jonathan. So Jonathan, tell us a little bit about who you are, how you landed in the Netherlands, and what up in general.
Yeah, perfect. Mm-hmm. So yes, as you said, I'm Colombian too. And then the reason why my last name is not really Colombian is because my family, actually from both father and mother side, they came from Europe to Latin America a long time ago. Both Jewish families that they settled in Latin America, in Colombia and Argentina. So yeah, that's where the Kaplinski last name is coming from. And I've been in the Netherlands for almost 2 years. It's going to be soon 2 years.
Wow.
Since from Bogota to Amsterdam. And the reason I moved is because of my career, basically. So I've been working for the biggest toy and game global company, Hasbro, for more than 8 years now. Yeah, it's going to be 9 years. And I have had the chance to travel around and to work in different countries. So now I'm in Amsterdam, and what we do in our office in Amsterdam is we manage all the countries where Hasbro do not own a Hasbro office. So from Amsterdam, we manage all the markets in Europe, Africa, and Middle East, where we don't have a local subsidiary. So that's all Ukraine and the former Soviet countries. We have the Baltic region, the Balkan region, Israel, and basically all the rest of the Middle East and all Africa, all the way down until South Africa.
Wow.
So for all these markets and regions, that's where I am, what I'm doing now in this current role, managing the marketing team.
Wow. That sounds like huge responsibility type of thing, and really exciting as well, because it's like world map, and then you see bing, 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 everybody buying toys.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of.
It is extremely exciting.
So it's really, really, really cool to have you here as a guest, and to also see from such high level position, how is it going? How is it going for you to be in the Netherlands, to be an employee in the Netherlands in such company. You also we were chatting before about how you landed. You came directly as an employee, you know, like when I came to the Netherlands, I came to study, and I never had the experience that you have, and that experience is called being an employee. So I have no idea about your world, and I want to know, how does it feel to be inside and then think about something sticking, and that is entrepreneurship, you know? So we're going to be discussing this topic and focusing on that, because of course many people think, yeah, maybe it's because you're not happy with your job. You look like you love your job, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I have not started business on the side because I don't like my job. That's the reason I have been with this company for more than 8 years. I actually love working for Hasbro. But it doesn't mean I do not have the energy and passion to start other businesses or companies that not necessarily are there to make profit, but to develop some of the areas of my interest. And yeah, that's what we are going to talk about, and which I consider the most important thing to decide why doing something else besides a job that is taking most of your energy and time. And for me, it's about your passions. What do you love to do? And that's why it's worth it sometimes to give the extra mile in terms of energy.
It's super, super important what you're mentioning, because sometimes people land or think that they should land on entrepreneurship from a point of view of frustration, you know? Like, oh, I hated my job. I don't want to have a boss. I feel trapped, all these things, you know? So I'm really happy that to take the angle of it can actually happen, that you love your job and you want to develop or follow, you know, other passions that you have, and just help out and measure impact in a different way while you continue being an employee. Maybe, and that I want to know later, if it's your long-term plan to, you know, to juggle around these two things and see how it goes. But in the end, it's about the combination. Today, we're going to talk about coffee latte then. Not only the coffee, but also the latte. Let's see how you combine it, how dark it is, how light it is. Yeah, so let's get started. For everybody who's watching now, this is Life on Purpose. So please join the conversation with questions via comments. I will be using something like this to encourage you people. Please share your questions via comments. We have in total, this space is half an hour, so we will try to just answer to everything. So please share your questions via comment, and feel free to reach out also after the event with more questions. Don't be shy. I know it's difficult to say that, but there's no stupid questions. There's nothing like that. So feel free to ask anything, literally anything. So let's get started. My first question for you is like, when, you know, it's about the time. So when is the best time to start your business while being an employee? Is there an ideal time, or in your own experience, when did you start like with this stick? Maybe this is a good idea. Like when?
Yeah. Well, Maria, for me, it's been when you find something that you love and something that is really passionate.
I'm losing you a little bit.
Something that really makes you passionate. And when you find it and you know what type of business or company you want to do for that passion that you have, the right time to do it.
I lost you for 1 second. I had a delay.
So what I was saying is, when you are clear on what really moves you, that's time to start.
Okay.
We will never have a right answer on when to start that applies for everybody. Of course. According to the workload that you have, the current role that you have, the financial stability, or the risks that your business or idea will have involved. But it doesn't really comes to that. It comes when you found what you really love to do and what you would like to give extra time, extra investment, and extra effort. It is the right time to do it. So for me, it's about finding that passion. I don't know if you have heard or read a book called The Element. The Element
rings a bell, but I haven't read it. So tell me about it so I can read it now.
It's a book that a British writer wrote, Ken Robinson, and it is about the middle ground between your passions and what you are good at doing. And when you find how to combine them, what you really like, what you really love, and what really moves you, come together, and you understand how how your abilities and skills, you can put it on service of what you really would like to do, that's the real time to start your own entrepreneurship or business on the side. One very important thing as well, apart from finding your element, is understanding that you don't have to worry or set about the dream goal. That I've seen that in many cases from people around me or entrepreneurs that I have helped, that the reason why not to do it is because they are focused on the dream goal. Yeah, so how they see this entrepreneurship working in 10 years. It's not a bad idea to have it, but when you focus on the dream goal only, you will find a lot of reasons why not to do it. Yeah, and when you start focusing on the dream goal, it sounds so ambitious that you will find a lot of barriers and a lot of reasons why not to do it. So my advice is, yeah.
Yes, I'm just nodding. So what is your advice?
Find your element, set your dream goal and your vision and where you really, your desired future, where you want to be in 10 years. But focus on your end goal, which is the 1 year goal, which is absolutely under your control. And this is the right thing to do, because you're not going to be stopped by irrational fears. And I see very, very often people coming to me telling me, I have the idea, this is my passion, I know what to do. And I think it's a new idea, it's a great idea, nobody has done it before. And a few days later, they told me, no, I Googled it and there's other people doing it. So I'm not going to make this, or I'm dropping off. And that's a very common mistake, because the ambition and the thinking on where you would like to be in 10 years usually puts you a lot of pressure and a lot of fears. And you don't know how you're going to finance it, how you're going to get the partners, how you're going to get the knowledge, how you're going to get the team. So think in a shorter term, keeping your goal in your mind, but think in a shorter term with things that are beyond your control, considering your actual situation, where you are dedicating most of your time and efforts to a company you work for.
Yeah, that's super important. And I think that to go step by step, is the way to go. Also, even if you are not an employee, combining your job with entrepreneurship, in general, for entrepreneurs, when we put a lot on our shoulders and we have this feeling of being the first, like self-critical, demanding constantly, it's super important to take it one step at a time. That doesn't mean you don't have a vision or you don't have a passion or you don't know where you're going. It's that, of course, your business goes with you and grows with you. So it's super important, and I completely agree on taking one step at a time. So it also looks easier to get there, like with smaller milestones. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it has happened to you as well, Maria, and to many people that are listening to this. Probably what you are doing today, it looks or it is actually different to what you imagined at the beginning.
Yeah, 100% actually.
It evolves, it changes, and you find a way to make it happen. You find a way to make it happen. Probably we will talk a bit more.
Yeah. Well, for me, Jonathan, is like, I love people. I like to drink coffee. Voila. And we're doing this space, where I can get to talk to people as amazing as you are and interact with an audience that wants to keep business real, business not like, whoa, what is this abracadabra type of thing. We want to make this approachable to everybody. So that's how we are experts around it.
Would you say, Maria, that you are actually in your element? Because you were saying how passionate you are about people, about connecting them. But in my opinion, you're also really skilled on personal relations and putting people together.
Yeah, yes. I'm in my element, Jonathan. Namaste. I will read that book definitely and check it out, because I really encourage to build business or to create business from your passion. So I agree with you. It's not about what works right now or just go for the Bitcoins or go for real estate or because everybody's doing that. No, it's exactly about what resonates with who you are, truly, as you grow, as you develop as a human being. So that's good. Let's go to the second question, and everybody, I'm like really pushing for everybody to send us some additional questions. But I have enough to ask you as well. So how did your career influence the development of your business concept? You haven't told us about what is your business concept.
Yeah, I was going to come to that.
Let's talk about it.
So I have started different things on the side. apart from my marketing career. Everything from small publishing company focused on publishing Colombian writers and poets. That was a very important passion for myself back then. And I had knowledge on how to do it, so I started doing that. After that, we opened with my wife a company to sell environmentally friendly products for women, such as the menstrual cup and many other products like that. So that's something that we opened together, and today she's managing 100% of her own. And today, I'm actually doing on the side today is actually a consultancy. So it's a consultancy business, it's called J Consulting, and it's basically consultancy support for entrepreneurs only. So I'm focused on supporting entrepreneurs. And why I'm doing that, and to answer your question on how my career influenced that. So basically, I'm combining a passion I have, which is helping people. And I was doing that in a very informal way. Yeah, helping a lot of people I know on how to set up their businesses, how to get started, how to give them the confidence they need and make it sure for them that they could make it. Which confidence is that key word for entrepreneurs. I'm sure you would agree with that, Maria. Just everything. So what my career has given me is all the commercial expertise. Yes, on commercial and sales side, the marketing part. Of course, in the different roles I have had, I have managed to have some financial and logistics and operation understanding. So having all these elements or all these skills and tools that these 11 years of working for different companies has given me, and putting that together with my passion for helping people achieve their dreams and make their ideas a reality. So combining these two, this is what the reason why I created J Consulting. Yes. So basically, J Consulting is here now, and I founded actually something around 6 months ago to support people in different countries. I started with supporting entrepreneurs in Latin America, from people from Spain, and now I have a couple of customers also from them and make their start business. So,
okay, that's amazing, because in the end, it's about you have that spontaneously. I think that many times when you're in business and you're passionate about helping even friends or, friends of friends that come to you, you start from a point of, okay, when I talk to people, I really have a lot to share. I have a lot that I can help with. And when you can see that basically you add value, that you're doing something amazing, yeah, why not to make a business out of it? And sometimes a lot of people are really talented or good at something that they don't necessarily think that it can become a business per se, right? So in the end, for you, it was like, okay, I'm doing this anyway, so let's make it a consultancy. Let's make it a business around consultancy for entrepreneurs, right?
Absolutely. And I have one of the main motivations for me to do this and to invest extra time during my week on speaking and helping different entrepreneurs is how much I have learned from such talented people with great ideas from many different industries and many different ideas that I have learned from. And I just give them the let's say, the roadmap on how to focus the efforts, how to start, which are the correct steps to give. That the entrepreneurs are the real talented people who are really bringing the ideas. I'm just, let's say, a guide for them. So actually, in many cases, what I get from them is maybe even the same or even sometimes more knowledge. That's what I can offer them. I just give them guidance.
Yeah.
And it really pushes them to make it happen.
That's amazing, and that's actually kind of in the where consultancy and coaching or mentorship meets, because in the end, and I also have the same experience when I talk to entrepreneurs, that you see people who are amazing, and sometimes they are all over the place, or they think that they are all over the place, and you just need a little bit of alignment or a little bit like to give the extra push so they can see the bigger picture, understand where they are, So I think that is really making the difference to talk to somebody else. Of course, that is not your friend or your family, and just let everybody pick your brain and see where you're standing. And in that sense, like business consultancy or business coaching or any type of service connected to that is fundamental. and not only when you're a big company, but especially in the beginning when you're alone or you're like just two people founding a company, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think coaching and consultancy are somewhere they meet. In the coaching part is where I understand that the entrepreneur is the real star here, the real person with the knowledge and the capability to make his or her dream happen. So I just work as a guide in that sense. They are the ones who have the talent to make it happen. And in the consultancy part, I give more technical advice and recommendations on which steps to follow, and a bit more in depth I go in my area of expertise. Yeah, in the marketing part, in the communication part, in the sales part, on the different channels, and a very common concern for many entrepreneurs is how to monetize and how to actually find the right sales channel for them, for their products or services. So I really work more there as a consultant more than a coach. But for the rest, most of the cases, the entrepreneur has the answer for herself.
Yeah. And it gives you, for me that I have worked with several mentors, business coaches and consultants, it's also giving me like Can you hear me, Jonathan? Hey.
Now I'm back. I lost you for a bit. Do
I'm
you hear
like
me?
internet during pandemic. Yes, I can hear you perfect. So I was just saying that also the role of keeping you accountable is really important, as an entrepreneur to have a business consultant. It also gives you like rhythm and keeps you accountable so you stop procrastinating or self-sabotaging your own business, right? Important.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the combination then. We're talking about a little bit about cafe latte, yeah? So if you combine a corporate career with entrepreneurship, where you say, yeah, Jonathan is right, I should go for it. I'm curious about what are the most challenging aspects of, going for it. What are the things that you encounter that are like, wow, now I need to juggle all these things. Plus you mentioned you have a wife also with a company. So I guess you're busy.
Yeah, and I also have 2 dogs in Amsterdam. That takes some. But actually, to this cafe latte, as any mix, and as everything in life, it has pros and cons, benefits and risks. So the benefits of going for this, for making yourself an entrepreneur while having your own career or an employment, is of course that it will reduce the risk. Yeah, you feel that you can take the risk because anyway you have some financial stability. So it should really be a push for yourself to take the risk and to do it. You don't have that much to lose if you still have your salary at the end of each month. And of course, the other benefit is that you don't have that much as a hurry in terms of financial results. If you are building something for your future, and again, it's something that you like and you feel passionate for, you don't need to see the financial results immediately in many cases. You're building something step by step at your own pace, your own rhythm, and you don't need and you don't feel the pressure to give the results for yourself now and to have the profit for your own income, of course. But of course, it has also many risks and difficulties. First of all, not having the financial risk is a benefit, but in many cases it's a risk as well, because you don't have the pressure to keep going for it and to keep making it happen. So you may get tired and you may question yourself why I'm putting all these extra hours on top of the, I don't know, 35 or 40 hours that you're already working for your employment. You don't, maybe I don't need the money. So that's also a risk. That's why it's so important to do something that you really love. Otherwise, you have a very high risk to quit because you don't have the financial pressure in many cases. For the same reason that you don't have the pressure, and very common, it happens very often that people like me, that we have unemployment, we come out with several ideas, and we have many ideas of businesses that we want to do, and in many cases we start working in many of them at the same time, and definitely, in my opinion, a mistake in many cases. It's very important to focus. It's very important to focus because the available time that you have while you have an employment is very limited. So you, in my opinion, you should focus all the extra effort that you will make in one idea if you really want to make it happen. And yes, the speed and the pace may be lower, as I said. So it's very important to consider that you should take some pressure out of yourself if you want to keep your job and make your own entrepreneur or your own business at the same time, and understand that you are building something for the long or medium or long term. It's very complicated if you want to see results in the short term because you have the risk of burning out.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention that you're like one of the figures in the newspapers about how burnout rate is increasing. I think that also it should be, and I can imagine that it can be really like a dilemma, you know, because of course you love when you start something, you're really passionate about it, you want to go for it, and then you're not keeping track of time. It happens a lot that people just go for it. Doesn't matter if it's weekend or after work hours or whatever. People just go for it. It happened to me a lot that I needed to put alarms to get out of the office. Otherwise, I could stay there forever, no problemo, you know. So sometimes, you know, like especially when you have this framework that you have to be somewhere from 9 to 5, from whatever time your job is happening, then of course you need to also learn when to stop, I think. In the same way that you learn when to go, as we were talking about when is the best time to start, it's also as important to learn when to stop, you know, so you can still keep your work-life balance in all this sandwich that you're building between your job and your business, plus having time for everything else, right?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That's a very important recommendation, to be very strict.
So I think that in the end, it comes down to how you deal with it as a person. It also, of course, depends on who you are, like what type of personality type you are, what type of job do you have, how demanding it is. So I'm very curious about the tips and recommendations that you can give people based on your own story about how to succeed on this idea of starting your own business. You know, from your own experience, what type of recommendations or exactly like what worked for you now that you also mentioned that you started several businesses in the past?
Yeah, perfect. My first recommendation is what I already mentioned, is do something that you love.
Okay.
Find your element and go for it. Otherwise, the risk of quitting is really high if you don't feel passion for this extra effort you're making. The second step, I would say, and the second recommendation is try to understand, and maybe with a consultant or a coach or with somebody else, which is the right way to be able for you to be able to make this happen. There are many different options, and it will change a lot on how much time do you have available and what is the type of business that you want to do as well. But find the right way to make it happen. Can you do it on your own? Do you need a partner? Do you need somebody as a partner who is putting all the effort in terms of time and you are giving less hours to it? But that's also an option. Depending on the business, finding ways for automation, how can you set up things to actually reduce the hours that you need. That's a very important thing. Keep your plans flexible. It is very important because while you are in developing your self-career at a company, things will change. Look for myself. I started with this company in Colombia, then I moved to Chile. Then we started seeing businesses in Colombia, in Argentina, also in Peru. And then I moved to the Netherlands. And during these years, we have been building this company also with my wife, this Lifeco. And so we have been working or changing the way that the company works. Now my wife moved with me and the business keeps operating in Latin America. So at the beginning, it was both of us. Then it was mostly her when I had less time to give to that business. And the time came to include another or a third partner in there to take care of the business in Latin America while we are here. So the way that you need, or the support that you need to make it happen, you need to keep it flexible. You need to understand that in many cases you may not be 100% in control of that, and you need more people in your team. So that's important. Another recommendation that you mentioned is be very rigorous and very strict in the time that you decide that you will dedicate to it. So you don't stop, you don't lose your work-life balance. That you say for yourself, these are the hours I will dedicate to it, or these days a week, and be a bit strict on that. Otherwise, you have this risk of burning out.
Okay.
And my final recommendation would be focus on the short-term goals, the baby steps. Keep your goal in your head, yes, but focus on what we call the performance goals, which are the 3-month goals. What do you want to achieve in the next 3 months that is going to build for this dream goal? Yes, but put short-term objectives. That's a very important recommendation I would give. Maria?
Again, I lost the connection. I think I got everything about putting shorter goals in place and having a realistic roadmap on how you're going to execute your plan, right? Okay, Jonathan, that was really, really interesting. Quick coffee to talk about how is it to be in your world. So you mentioned, like, yeah, you started your consultancy firm. I know that many people are watching and will watch this video, and they're currently maybe hesitating or playing with the idea of starting their own business. So specifically, how can you help them? Like if I say, Jonathan, I'm going to introduce you to people that I talk to every day. What type of entrepreneurs can you help? How can you help them? How to stay in touch?
So the first thing we do is I take a coffee with the person, either a virtual or a real coffee. Where is this person, in which step of the process this person is, and then how I can help this person. So this is a first half an hour to meet and to understand what are the needs that this person has, and in which of these needs I can support, or which of the needs I cannot, and I would recommend the correct person to look for. So basically, this is the first step. I make sure that this person is working for her or his element, which, as I said, it really increases the chances of success. And then we define an action plan for the short term again, what they can do and how I will be guiding them in the process. But this is not, the purpose of this is not that I will work with the person for several hours, because I myself limit the hours I dedicate to this. But I work more as a guide for half an hour or 1 hour a week. We set up the short-term goals, and then we catch up every 1 or 2 weeks to see the progress and see what is coming next for the person. And basically, the third thing I do is removing barriers for the person, removing fears, and which is basically the main reason for people to fail and to not to bring the ideas into reality, and to show them that they know how to do it, or we will find a way to do it, and for them to be able to live from what they love.
Perfect. Sounds like a plan. So everybody, this was Jonathan. Jonathan, amazing. I think that starting from your point of passion, from what you love, and going step by step, don't do it alone. That's what I always advise to everybody. That's why we also created the expert pool. Don't do it alone. It's possible to start with company, and with company who has been there, done that. So thank you for sharing this. For everybody who's interested in getting in touch with Jonathan, please let us know through comments. Send us an email to info@7daystogo.com. And we are going to facilitate whatever you need so we can continue growing really nice coffees and helping each other. In the end, it's all about helping each other to go for that dream, go for your passion, and do it in a way that you can keep it rolling, right? Thanks, Jonathan.
Maria, thank you very much.
There in Amsterdam. I miss you, I hope I can see you soon, as soon
I
as
hope so
it's
too.
open.
I hope so
Okay.
too.
Thank you, everybody who was watching, and please, we're going to keep an eye on comments for now and later. Okay. Have a nice week, everybody. Do it,
Have a
do
great
it. Ciao, ciao.
week.